The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. We'll start out today with the chart of the German DAX from our good friend, Mr. Alan Smith over in the UK. This is one of the things, well, this is the main thing that he trades, but I just wanted to if you pay attention to what he's showing you here, if you look on the left-hand side of the chart there, you'll see the three drive to a bottom pattern that occurred back on the 15th. Of November, and then you see we had the Gartley that went up exactly to the 61% retracement up on the 21st. We came down to just about a perfect 78%, came in at 0.84. That's reciprocal of root 2. And if we go into the next low we see here at the 78% level, that completes the 135 pattern. That was the pattern that was shown to me by Roy Longstreet and his son Bill way back in, oh my gosh, that was about 80. Well, it was long before the crash. So it was a long time ago. But basically what this does is it shows the cyclical component with the Fibonacci ratios. All I did was to show them that those cyclical components were related to either 618 or 78% retracement about 90% of the time. And but the trouble is you don't know whether it's going to be 618 or 786. So if you try it at the 618, your stop has to be below the 78% level. So that's the main thing. Now you notice the market's rallied about 40, let's see, it's rallied about 60 points off of that on the DAX, which is no small sum. But if it goes back below that now, that would be a failure, and you wouldn't want to be involved with that. So that's what we're watching here in the DAX this morning. But the thing to take home here is that this does follow all of the ratios and patterns that we look at. And it, in fact, is a huge market. The margin on it is 22,000 euros, but that's and each ticket, each 100 points is worth $2,500. But they do have a mini DAX, much like we do with the E-mini, because years ago, up until we had Globex, we were trading the big S&P, which was $500 a point instead of $50 a point. That's why it's 10% of the time now, and why we have volume of 3.3 million and not 300,000 or 400,000 like we used to have. So we'll take a look at that, and then we want to take a look here. This also comes from Alan, and you'll see here that this is the this is the FTSE, which is the UK version of the Dow Jones, and you'll notice it looks like we're preparing to make a ABCD structure up here at around 74.75. We're trading at 74.23 right now, another 50 points, which is no small task, but that's what the pattern sets up to look at it. Folks, I wanted to regress here just a little bit since my a lot of memories going through my head with thoughts of my friend and stuff. But in it was early. There was a mid 70s. It must have been around it was around 1975, the summer of 75. By then, Bob Gomillion, my friend, the coin dealer, was and I were very, very good friends. And I would go to the coin conventions with him. They would have them in Long Beach and San Francisco, and also in Las Vegas. Las Vegas was always the big one, and there was always a lot of these coin dealers carry millions of dollars of coins with them at all time, and security is always very, very tight. And so I would go over there as a security guard, well, not a security guard, but whatever, to help watch the coins and stuff. And I would sell in the booth and stuff. It was a lot of fun. These were all my friends, and so it was great. But I have to tell you the story behind this, because I kept this memorabilia, and I'm going to find it and copy it and share it with you in the den here. I only kept a few things from all those years because there was so much paper, but this was one of them. We were getting ready to leave, and so I went to the bank and I got $1,000 of 10 $100 bills in a little band. In other words, it had the band that said $1,000, and so I'll show it to you when I find it, and I know where I have it. Anyway, I got this, and we went over there. It was on a Thursday night. The convention is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Thursday night, I'm at I don't play table games very much, but we were at the crap table with some of these guys, and they're all they're crazy as heck anyway. And I ended up losing $600 of my $1,000 that night, and it really bothered me a lot. And so I only play poker, but I was there to work, so that 600 is out the window. And there were no credit cards back in those days, folks. It was basically American Express and what was that other one that I can't even remember? It's gone. But anyway, I saved that. And the reason why I saved it is this, because that $600 cost me from buying 4 contracts of the soybean oil that I was buying, with a Gartley patent that had happened in 75. Those 4 contracts, which was $150 margin on each one, that was $600, ended up being worth about $13,000. So not that I lose the 600, I lost the opportunity to make the 13,000. From that day on, I hardly ever do any table games. I'll play, $20 here, and I do play Let It Ride once in a while when I'm ahead. But only if I'm ahead, but I don't shoot craps anymore. I play a hand of blackjack when it's free, and that's not very often. We get a couple times a year to play it free, but the opportunity cost is what really got to me. The other piece of memorabilia that I held was the statement from my eggs contract that I had back in, that was in 1972, and the report came out in eggs, and it was so very, very bullish that I went to Beverly Hills and I bought this beautiful leather jacket. And when I came in on Monday morning, they told me that the numbers were all wrong. The USDA reported it wrong, and the numbers, instead of being really bullish, were really bearish. And I'd spent just a little under, I forget, it was a lot of money for that leather jacket, and I never did wear it. It had such a bad stigma in my mind that I never wear it. I gave it to a charity, and they sold it in a reverse auction once. So that's it. What I do for fun now, Jay, is I do play Texas Hold'em poker. I like the tournaments because you only buy in somewhere between $35 and $150, and you can be pretty lucky. And then they have these jackpots that I've been rather lucky on, sometimes, which is fun. But you're limited your losses. And poker's a game of skill. It's because you get to choose when you want to play, how much you want to bet, and who you play against. You don't get that opportunity in gambling, because gambling is based on an event that, once it starts, you have no control over. It's the flip of the coin, the roll of the dice, the spin of the wheel, the blow of the whistle, the toss of the ball, whatever it is. Once that starts, it goes to the end. You can't do anything about it. And then what you can do is you wait for the thing, and they take a percentage. And the house in poker, they charge about $5 for every hand that we play. We play about 20 hands an hour. So you're playing is about $100 an hour going off the table. So you have to play rather conservatively, but you have the odds in your favor a little bit anyway. Wow, killed 5 minutes there. We got Arch Crawford as our guest today, folks, so stay tuned. 877-927-6648.
The Taz Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the Taz Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the Taz Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I posted the chart of the dollar index in here. You notice that we completed that ABCD pattern. Folks, this could be very, very important, and the reason for that is in Gartley's book on page 221 and 222, he spends 2 full pages describing the start of a new bull market, and he said to buy the first ABCD correction in a bull market, and if you look at this chart, this is the first ABCD correction. Now, the bull market started way back when our leader Tom O'Brien coined the term King Dollar when it was trading at 73. Well, we're at 93 right now, and we've seen this before that we've had a pretty good correction here on the weekly charts. But this could be very, very important, folks. You know, it's extremely important just because of what Gartley talked about in that book. That was the only place in that book where he spent 2 full pages describing one pattern. And since it was on page 222, that's why I called the Gartley pattern the Gartley 222, because it was on page 222. So this is very important. Now, the key to watch now is if the euro breaks below the 382 level of this last move that we just occurred. Now, this is shorter term, but this is what I'm looking at as far as whether I think it's going to, you know, make a big turn here. And if it would break below that 118.50 level, that would tell us that we'd be looking at something that would be a little bit more sinister. That would also be something that would tell us there's a possibility that we've got gold breaking out to the upside too. So we'll be able to see. We've got a question here from Matt up in Colorado about the crude oil. Matt, I still think that we've got a chance here in the crude oil for a pretty good top in here. We've only come down about $1.50 a barrel. about $1.50 a barrel, and watch the retracement back here. We're trading at 57.60 and change right now. So that's what it looks like. We talked about that heating oil that also had pretty good divergence, even though we did take that out by just a little bit before it sold off. But there's a chance here. But again, here it's a chance, and there's a lot of news coming in from Saudi Arabia about what's going on over there, about the autumn, spring, and everything is changing over there. Folks, after 4,000 years, it's going to change more than a few months or years to change this, but we'll see whether that's going to go on. The women aren't going to be able to drive cars. They're still up in the air whether they're going to be able to vote or not. So we'll be able to see see what's really going to be happening. You're right, Matt. There was some pretty good divergences there yesterday in Brent versus WTI. So that's another one. The thing that I would watch for, Brent, is to watch for a either 382 retracement here on the heating oil, crude oil. If we get that up around the 58, I think it's around 58.20, and it doesn't go much higher than that, that might be the first indication that this is about all you're going to get. But it's come off very, very quietly, folks. This is not like a real top has occurred, because we've only backed off just a very, very small amount in the crude oil. So, and just like the euro, I mean, there's nothing bearish about the euro here other than the fact that we made the big ABCD up at the 109.60 level. We came off almost 100 pips, 90 pips off the high. That's nothing. That's just a normal correction in that market. So it's still, we're just at a critical time. And remember that the currencies have a tendency to make big moves right after the first of the year. I don't know if that's from countries, planning what their budgets are going to be or anything like that. I'm not sure. All I know is that around the seasonal time for December, January, these currencies can really be, something big. And we've seen this in gold also, where gold makes its bottoms in December. So that's pretty much it. Since we're talking about the gold market, we got up to $12.99 yesterday. We backed off to $12.92, trading around $12.95 right now. This is my personal opinion, and I'm only basing it on what I see happening in silver. Silver is doing absolutely nothing. That could change, of course, in a heartbeat. But to me, it looks like we want to come down one more time in gold, and that would tell us that we have a better chance. Because if you look at this silver chart, folks, we're at the same price here. It's trading at 1703 now. This is where we were Friday, 1701. So we've had 2 days of nothing, even though gold has rallied a little bit. So, that's what I'm looking at. We could easily get above the 1302 level, which would be very positive for the gold. And Mr. Z's talking about that right now, looking at 1300 to 1308, which is true, and we could easily do that. By the way, I wanted to thank Mr. Z yesterday. He gave me a really nice call after the market was over to discuss this chart that we were talking about in the market yesterday, the fact that the yields on these junk bonds and treasury yields were, the yield on the junk bond was less than treasury yields. Folks, that was for European high yield index. That's not the U.S. index. I thought I said that yesterday, but I wanted to reiterate that was the real thing. What is important is this bottom part chart that you're looking at, where there's a little blue insert there, where that 3 drive to a bottom is occurring over the last several months. That's the one that's very, very important, because those 3 drive patterns, those are really, really powerful when they do work. So we'll see how this works out. But I wanted to thank John for giving us his 2 cents worth on this, because he certainly made a good case for it. In fact, that much of this are corporate bonds. They're still, high yield, but they are corporates, and many of these corporations have a lot of cash now. And the only reason that they're even going into the market is because they can borrow cheaper in the bond market than they can get money from the bank. So that's the main thing. Banks, they charge an arm and a leg, even though they don't pay anything on their interest rates, and that's why they call them banks. Okay, we're making new highs now in just about everything. We've made new highs in the Dow Jones. We've made new highs in the S&P. We've made new highs in the NASDAQ, and we've made new highs in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And the thing that I think is important here, is the volume is relatively small. Of course, it's holiday atmosphere as we go through here. But if we take a look at what's happening in the bond market, and Tom O'Brien talked about this a little bit earlier this morning, we're seeing a lot of volume coming into Treasury bonds and Treasury notes, folks. And that makes me believe that if we take a look at this bond chart, I believe that, and I'm bearish bonds on a long-term basis, but if you look at this bond chart, where we are right now, we're trading around 154.12. This thing looks like it wants to go to 156.22 without any trouble at all. And if you look at this really closely at 156.22, you would have a head and shoulders pattern going back to last June. And long term, it still looks bearish, but we could still get this this rally occurring because we had huge volume today in the notes and the bonds. I think it was, I heard Tom say it was 800,000 contracts had traded this morning in those Treasury notes, and that's no small feat, folks. And that's the largest of all the commodity things that we trade. And if we look at that same pattern with the Treasury notes, you're going to see the same pattern, but instead of coming in at the 78% level that the Treasury bonds are going to come in, the Treasury notes would come in to the 382 level. And you'll notice that there's that perfect ABCD level coming in there at 125.28. We're trading at 124.30. That's a full handle from where we are almost. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's equivalent to $2,000 in the bond. So that would get them up there if they can do it. So pay attention to those numbers. And of course, if we fail, then this doesn't count. 877-927-6648. Stay tuned for Arch Crawford.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we have one of our favorite people on the line today from Crawford Perspectives, the CEO and General Manager, Arch Crawford. Arch, are you there?
I am definitely here.
Well, good to have you on.
Be here.
Good to have you on board. I can almost look out the front door and see Arch, but it's a little too far away. It's a couple of miles. Hey, Arch, we have a question from one of our listeners, and I posted the chart for the Dow Jones Industrial Average in the room here. We're looking at about 5 different gaps, and the question that the person is asking is, have you ever seen a situation where we've had so many gaps in the stock market with all your years of experience? And you've got almost 60 years, don't you, Arch? Pretty close.
What's this, 2017, from, I started watching after Christmas in 1954.
Wow. That's pretty good, Arch. That's
13.
Yeah, 60. Wow, 64 years. Good for you. Listen, what do you think of all these gaps, Arch? You have any feeling about it or what it means?
Well, I don't know what it means exactly, but they're making gaps, but then they're not going anywhere after. I'm looking at several of them, and they show a big change, and then it doesn't change anymore after the gap for a while. Sometimes it's there's 3 kinds of gaps. There's a breakaway gap, a continuation gap, and an exhaustion gap. And a breakaway gap usually leads to a much further rise. Continuation gap usually will be a continuation in the direction whichever way it's going. And the exhaustion gap means that it's running out of steam and it goes in and tops out. And most of these gaps have been that variety, oddly, and it'll gap up and then stabilize or decline slightly for like as much as a month and a half, I think, on the one that occurred last March 1st, I see. And then there was another one in the middle of June, gapped up right to the top, and then there was a breakaway gap in early September. So you and a continuation gap in close to the middle of October. So the thing is, like I said, we're getting very little change during the day. I think there's been a record number of days with the S&P less than a 1% change in either direction. We've had them for long periods, and then maybe one day more than 1%. It's really a very, very strange market, and these gaps have been taking place.
How about the new high, advanced decline line, new highs to new lows? That still does not have a really great bullish implications, does it?
I don't think so, but it hadn't stopped it yet. So
yeah, that's for sure.
The heck, I mean, nothing is working, so I think it's a total manipulation, and I hate to say that, but it any trader who is in here day to day sees the market start breaking down through important short-term support levels, and all of a sudden somebody comes in and buys 10, 20, 30,000 futures and pops it right back up. And that is indication to me that somebody doesn't want it to go down.
And they've been right. Arch, I've got a question here from another one of our listeners about this big day that we've got coming up here on December 3rd. We've got Mercury is going retrograde, and we've got a full moon, and then the next day we have perigee. All of them clustering within a day or two. Do you have any feeling about that date, or what do you think?
More important to me about that date is Mars opposite to Uranus, so that's the top day of the Mars-Uranus crash cycle.
Oh, it was? Oh, I wasn't aware of that. That was Mars opposition Uranus?
Yes, on the 2nd.
Oh, okay. Okay, the 2nd of December, okay.
2nd and 3rd. So 1st to 4th, you can look for major shifts in all kinds of markets. And I think the Mars-Uranus opposition will put in the top in Bitcoin on the 2nd or within a very few days.
The question, Bitcoin hit 99.15 last night, and Arch, what is your feeling on Bitcoin? Is it a tulip bulb, or what's your opinion on Bitcoin?
Well, it could be a tulip bulb, but there's no, I don't know if this new gadgetry will turn into a major force, because the governments are trying to get rid of cash, and Bitcoin is one of the possibilities of getting away from cash, and the government doesn't necessarily know what you're doing. And I think the government is far too intrusive in our lives already. And so I would prefer the Bitcoin catch on and be meaningful. But I'm not sure that it will, and I'm certainly looking at the speed of the movement and the acceleration of the movement, and it is getting very close. And when you get to that at the peak of the Mars-Uranus crash cycle, it turns on the day.
Well, that's pretty close. Arch, one other question that we have, and this is from someone in Tucson, Arizona, named Larry Pesavento. Arch, what has happened to the
guy? I know that guy.
Hey, what is the happening to the Bradley model, Arch? And I've been following this darn thing for a long, long time, as you have, and boy, it has just been totally out of whack this year. I've never seen it this this obscure compared to what it usually does as far as picking turns in the market. It's just been horrible the last 3 or 4 months.
Well, I find that when there's a lot of activity, which is both positive and negative aspects, that it'll tend to throw it off. But there have been a lot of major long-term cycles, plus one minus another, plus one minus another. So I'm not following the Bradley that closely right now, because I find the market so manipulated it doesn't seem to matter what is happening out there. Now, I think the thing with Bitcoin is so emotional that when markets get that emotional, they tend to obey the astrological happenings much more tightly to the day often. And so I think I'm watching the Bitcoin particularly carefully for that.
Hey, we're going to take a little break here, Arch, to pay some bills. Could you stay on for a few more minutes?
Sure.
Okay, Arch Crawford of Crawford Perspectives.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, brought to you by Nadex. Next on TFNN.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're talking with Arch Crawford of Crawford Perspectives, Tucson, Arizona. Arch, we have a question about the things that are happening in Saudi Arabia about the Arab Spring. You have any comments on that, and what does it look like, from your perspective?
What do they mean exactly by that?
Well, the fact that there's so many women being able to vote and drive cars, and they're arresting some of the, actual cousins of the royal family,
yes, in Saudi Arabia, yes.
Yes, yeah.
Well, there have been so many changes in governments, particularly where it's been, one leader as opposed to a democratic society. We had Mugabe has been thrown out, and Salman took over Saudi Arabia, and I've forgotten right now. I wrote about it in the last letter that a whole bunch of things were going on in a whole bunch of countries, like Venezuela has 600% inflation right now, and their government is very, very shaky, and so things. And this is the first time a president has ever put as his goal the throwing out of the current president. I've never seen anything like that before. But as I said, things are happening that have never happened before, and Saudi Arabia is no different. I think they are considering the price of oil that dropped down from 115 to 26, and they've had trouble meeting. Their governments have been in deficit all over the Middle East with the dependence on oil, so they are rapidly shifting to other things as fast as they can. So they're not stupid people. They're a lot of smart guys. I remember Zaki Yamani, who was the OPEC negotiator for 20 years, said on the front page of the Wall Street Journal that astrology was his passion.
Mm-hmm.
That was in the 90s, early
Wow.
90s, I think it was.
By the way, I was just chatting with Bill Meridian this morning, and he said to say hello to you. He's going to be on our show next week. So anyway, you know, Bill's involved with some of that stuff. And you're right, they do have a lot of smart people over there, and they hire a lot of smart people, you know, to follow these things. So it's going to be very interesting, you know.
I agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But there are big changes going around in the world for sure. We have one other question about the gold market, and this is one of your specialties. Arch, you want to tell the folks what you're seeing in gold?
Yeah, I used to trade gold for a living for, I think it was 3 years in the mid-'70s. And the chart is, the price action is much better than it's been in quite a while. We have higher highs and higher lows developing. Now, the gold has been in a tight pattern, which may be a head and shoulder pullback low. It's stabilized above the 200-day moving average, and it's been sideways for 2 months. It could stay in that pattern somewhat longer, but I'd like to see 2 closes above 1,300. You know, we've had 1 close above 1,300 twice, and it tanked right back down again.
Sure did.
In the last 3 months or so. So you need 2 closes above 1,300, and I'd like to see one above 1,320, and then above the, 1,362 or something from early September. But the action is better than it's been in a long while. So I'm neutral, and I think it could turn positive quickly if something promotes it.
Arch, do you look at the relationship between silver and gold? You know, the fact that silver is, not doing nearly as well as gold. You know, it can't hardly get above $17 an ounce these days. And that's one of the things that I watch, because that's the poor man's gold. And I just wonder if you had an opinion on that.
Yeah, I think long term it's got to work out, but short term anything can happen. Looking at the chart, it looks like it's forming, it's very potential of a head and shoulder bottom, which is with a leaning slightly down neckline. But the action there has been fairly positive too. It's been hanging very tightly on where both the 50-day and the 200-day, no, these are 50-week and 200-week moving averages. Golly, I'm looking at a weekly chart.
Yeah,
and,
I know.
That is stabilizing nicely, but it's still got to break back above the neckline, which is now at about 19.5. So I'd like to see a close above 20 there, which also follows through a couple of days or a couple of weeks and holds above there, would be a very, very strong sign. And it would have to, close a couple of days below 16 to indicate a longer consolidation or possibly even a further downtrend. I don't think we're going to get lower than we got, a little below 14 in 2016. So I don't think we're going to break that. But anything can happen in these markets.
Arch, we have a question about politics. Is anything you see on the political horizon on anybody's chart that deserves our attention?
I read some other people on that occasionally, and all of the astrologers that made bad predictions about Trump, none of them have been right, and he has been quietly implementing what he told his voters he would do. So I don't think that could be a bad thing for him. Of course, history will write it up, whatever happens, and we don't know what's going to happen exactly, but I think he has pulled us back from a socialist communist trend, and I hope it lasts, but I'm not confident of anything in the political realm.
Oh, I can understand that. Sam, how the folks, if they want to reach you, what's the best way that they could get a copy of the newsletter and to reach you if they have any questions?
Well, reaching me is easy if you just Google, quote, Arch Crawford, end quote, and that'll bring up, I don't know, several thousand hits, but the first one is almost always our website. And the website is crawfordperspectives.com. Mm-hmm. That's a long type, so it's easier to.
Yeah. How long you been doing the newsletter, Arch?
40 years last May.
Wow, that's amazing. Of course, you have the same birthday, April 17th, as J.P. Morgan, as I recall. Correct?
That's right. Now, Morgan is supposed to have said that. Millionaires don't have astrologers, but billionaires do. And I have not been able to find the origin of that quote. His the material put out by his office.
Stay with us, Arch. Stay with us. I got to pay a few bills. I think I know where that quote is, my friend. I'll let you know. Stay with us. Arch Crawford of Crawford Perspectives.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
It's that time of year again. The TFNN Salvation Army Tiger Dollar Holiday Sale is back. Through this Sunday only, you can get a 25% bonus on any Tiger Dollar purchase, and up to 10% of whatever you spend will be donated to the Salvation Army in your name. This sale only comes around once a year and is one of the most rewarding promotions we have. Tiger Dollars are a great way to add extra savings to any TFNN product or service. Whether you're considering signing up for any newsletter or workshop in the future, or you're already a subscriber, Tiger Dollars offer an immediate savings on any TFNN newsletter, webinar, workshop, or Master Trader series. And they never expire and are fully transferable to friends and family. For all the details and to take part in this special promotion, visit the front page of TFNN.com before this sale ends Sunday, December 3rd. And happy holidays from TFNN. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're talking to Arch Crawford from Crawford Perspectives, and we were talking about the quote by J.P. Morgan that millionaires don't use astrologers, billionaires do. Arch, I believe it's in the book by Bernard Baruch, his autobiography called My Own Story. I have a copy of that. I will double check it. That's where I think it is, but I'll check with another friend of mine. In fact, I'll ask Bill Meridian, too, if they remember where the quote is. But that quote has been around for, wow, decades. And I don't even remember where I saw it the first time.
Well, I've seen it several places quoted, but I've never seen the original. But if you go to Morgan Library, which is
oh yeah, on 42nd Street, right by Rockefeller Center, sure.
It's a 36th Street, and yeah,
Rockefeller's on 42nd. Yeah, that's right. I've been to that. I've been to the Morgan Library several times.
Well, if you look up at the ceiling, it's not really obvious, but if you know what a zodiac looks like, it's not a zodiac pattern, but there are some symbols from the typical zodiac on his ceiling of his office.
Yeah, and right over his birth sign is where the secret passage was that took him up to his residence. I remember that. I saw the elevator myself.
Right, it's under Aries.
Yeah, that's right. Sure is. Hey, listen, thanks for joining us, Arch. We really appreciate it, and we'll have you on again, and want to wish you happiest holidays to you and Joanna, okay?
Thank you so much. God bless.
You bet. You bet. Arch Crawford of Crawford Perspectives. Folks, keep an eye on these markets. We haven't had much volatility, but that's probably going to change pretty soon. Watch the euro, folks, because if we get below 118.50, that is going to be a pretty negative sign. There should be some pretty strong support at that 118.65 level. That's 20 pips from where we are right now. That will affect the gold market, stock market, bond market. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.